Hey, hope you're doing well. And look, this video, we're going to cover some topics that were covered in another video called The Ultimate Guide to Language Learning, which I'll put a link in the description somewhere, probably below, above, to the side, to the other side. I'll put the link somewhere. But in this video though, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about what to buy if you want to learn a language. So we're not going to talk about how to memorize words. What is a good goal to set? We're not going to talk about that stuff. That's in the other video, okay? This video is just for the people that were too lazy to watch the other video. We're just going to look at what you're buying, okay? Just in case you're just interested in that bit, okay? So it's actually easier and cheaper to learn a language today than it was 30 years ago. And the reason why is because we have access to so many resources and so many free resources as well. If you did watch the other video, you might recall that my goal with, say, when I learn a language is that I want it to be like within 3 months or whatever the time period is, I want to be able to have a 1-hour conversation in the language, not using my notes much. It says without using my notes, but resorting to my notes as little as possible, using English as little as possible as well, okay? My goal is not native speaker level within 3 months. My goal is not perfection. My goal is just to have a 1-hour conversation with a degree of spontaneity, okay? So what are the resources you need to do that, okay? Your first resource obviously is time. And we mentioned in the other video, in my opinion, it takes about 4 hours a day. You can do it in 3 months. Or 6 months, you can do it in 2 hours a day. Okay, that's your first resource. But the second thing you want to do in terms of resources is you want to understand that languages are mostly acquired through massive amounts of comprehensible input, okay? And input means listening and reading, but especially listening. That's the way that languages are acquired, through massive amounts of comprehensible input. So what you're going to want to do first is, for free, you're going to go to YouTube, you're going to type in comprehensible input and whatever the language is that you want to learn. So here are some examples for Chinese, okay? Here are some examples for Spanish. You want videos that are not too hard, not too easy, that are just right, that are comprehensible input, okay? Here is an example for Japanese. So this channel here, Immersion with Asami, is very, very, very good. And this one here, Comprehensible Japanese, is very, very good. But whatever language you're doing, you just type in comprehensible input beforehand, okay? Should you buy a textbook? Well, I think, yeah, if you're able to buy a textbook, if you're able to spend a couple of bucks, yeah, I think you should. So I didn't use these textbooks when I was in China learning Chinese myself, because the American teachers had left a couple of textbooks there, and there were textbooks you could actually buy in China. But what I did is I tried to put myself in the head of an Australian person trying to learn Chinese, and I bought this book here, and I bought this book here, and they seem to be pretty good, which I'll show you right there. So we've got Easy Mandarin, and we've got Mandarin for Beginners, okay? And I've also ordered in HSK1, which should be arriving in the mail pretty soon, because the other HSK books, like HSK 4 and 5 and 6, they were perfect for my level, okay? So I've bought HSK 1 to see what that's like as well for beginners. So these are really good books. You can buy them from either, like, the easiest way is through Amazon, or you can go to QBD Bookstore, which is a bookstore we have a lot of on the Gold Coast, and you can just ask them, could you please order in Easy Mandarin Chinese? Could you please order in whatever, okay? Here's another good book for Japanese that I bought. Here's a good one for Italian that I bought. It actually doesn't matter what resources you buy, as long as it has audio. I think it should have dialogues, like person A talking to person B, and it should explain the grammar and so on after a dialogue. I think that makes for a really good textbook. And it shouldn't be too hard either. Like, it should be not too easy and not too hard. It should be okay for your level, whatever your level is. I would recommend that you don't buy a picture dictionary, which is what gets sold a lot of bookstores now. So for some reason that I don't know what the reason is, they don't really sell books like this on the bookshelves anymore. Maybe learning languages in an actual effective way wasn't popular. And so they sell a lot of stuff like, here's a list of words with pictures, or here's a phrase book and dictionary. I mean, these things are much better than nothing, but I think it's much better to have something where it's like, like almost like a course, like with chapters and some grammar explanations every so often and stuff like that. I think that's really good. So don't be scared to go to your bookstore and order stuff in. You can even order stuff in and look at it and then not pay for it. You can just be like, okay, well, here you've ordered in these 3 books for me. I want to choose this one and this one, but not that one. You can just do it like that. Or like I said, you can order online through Amazon or eBay or something. Okay. And now with regards to output, well, with the money that you'd be spending, if you want to spend any money at all, I mean, you can do it for free through Conversation Exchange. That's where you trade 1 hour of you talking in English with 1 hour of the target language that you want. So that's one method. Or another method which I just use is I just use italki, which is good priced tutoring. Okay? And so how much does that cost? Well, in Australia, you're looking for up to about $50 per hour for tutoring if you have it in person. But if you have it through italki, it's much more cost effective. So you can take that same $50 an hour that you'd be spending in person, and look at this. You can go through italki and you can get a tutor for about 10 to 15 Australian dollars per hour, which is pretty amazing. Okay? Pretty amazing. So, I mentioned in the other video, like obviously if you're under 18, you gotta seek permission before you gotta ask your family before you go online and do online lessons. That applies to anything, whether it's languages, whether it's whatever. And obviously, you're going to be paying for lessons it's online. It's going to be paying with a credit card. You're going to need permission for that as well. Okay. But it's very straightforward. Once you've done it one time, it's really, really, really easy. Okay. You do a lesson, you do whatever you want to do in the lesson, and then you pay the tutor after the lesson. And if you like the tutor, you can book another lesson, or you can book 5 lessons at a time and get a discount normally. Okay. So I think a good thing to do is if your goal is 3 months, which is a nice, really compact goal, or 6 months, or whatever your goal is, say 1 to 2 lessons a week on italki, you're looking at about $15 to $30 an hour. Okay. So instead of spending money on, say, judo or karate or basketball, whatever the thing is, you're spending the money on a language tutor. Okay. So that is what to buy. We've looked at tutoring. We've looked at textbooks. We've looked at a bunch of free stuff, especially comprehensible input. Okay. So that's it. Good luck with your language learning. I'd love to know how you go. Have a nice day. See ya.